In a draft class that is expected by many to be one of the more loaded draft classes in recent history, there is one standout player that, by many sports media outlets, is projected to be the number one pick in this year's class, and that is Darryn Peterson. Darryn Peterson has been widely regarded for the past couple of years now as one of the best guard prospects to come out in recent memory. And when you look at it from that perspective, I'd say that's pretty impressive considering in recent memory we've gotten a lot of good guard prospects. We've gotten guys like Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, just for a few names to mention. And for him to be considered the best prospect, not saying he's going to be better than him at the next level, we don't know. But for him to be considered the best prospect is pretty impressive. He was the number one player in the nation, obviously, and he has entered his freshman season at Kansas, and he's kicked it off with a bang. He had an impressive exhibition showing versus top 25 ranked Louisville, and he's carried it over into the regular season, where in his debut versus Green Bay, he had 21 points in 22 minutes, and in a big showdown versus North Carolina, with everybody watching, put up 22 points on 8 of 14 shooting. Yes, they did lose that game, but I think a lot of people that watched would say he had a pretty good performance when you take all things into consideration. Watching Peterson play, you see why he gets the hype that he's been getting from a lot of scouts that watch him play at the high school level. He plays with a poise that you just don't see in any random freshman. He can do a lot of things. He scores at all three levels, whether that's hitting shots off the dribble or being able to play off the ball and hit shots off the catch. He's 12 of 22 from three-point range to start off the year when you combine his first two regular season games and his exhibition game that he played in. And he's shown that he can hit these shots with full confidence, hit them from range. The shot mechanics that he's displayed shows that he is more than capable to be a knockdown shooter from beyond the arc, while also mixing it up, and like I said, he is a three-level scorer. He can put the ball on the deck, get to some midi pull-ups, also get downhill, mixing some finishing at the rim. And I think those things make him a really standout offensive prospect. Not to mention, he does something on the offensive end that you really look for in these star guard prospects, or just star prospects in general, and that's he can exploit his defender and get to the line, which is something you have to look for in these potential star players, because in the NBA, the star players, they know how to exploit their matchup and just use your physicality against you to get to the free throw line and get those easy buckets and just put you at their mercy. And so far, he has shown that he can do that. So offensively speaking, I think there's not a lot of flaws that you look at from Darryn Peterson. But to me, what makes Darryn Peterson such a special all-around prospect is the non-scoring attributes that he brings to the table. It's the other things. It's the fact that he can be a playmaker and make the right reads, which makes him a perfect combo guard that can play either the 1 or the 2 depending on what you need him to be in your lineup that night. Also, I think he has really high upside on the defensive end, and this is what really does it for me, because the fact that he is a bucket getter, but also a guy with really high upside on the other end, he's a two-way star guard prospect. He's 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan, and off the ball, he's a menace. He can cause havoc in the passing lanes. He can be a weak side help protector at the rim. But don't get it twisted. On the ball, Peterson can move his feet. He can guard opposing teams' best guards and wings if needed, which is incredibly valuable for a draft prospect for any team that's selecting in the top 3. And statistically, Peterson backs it up. The man averaged 3.4 stocks per game at the high school level. And so far, in his first 2 regular season college games, he has had 3 stocks in each of those first 2 games. So it's clear, the upside on that level is being displayed. And when you take it into consideration that he can play both ends, and he can play make, and he can score and do these things, and he is a good-sized guard for the modern NBA, I think he's the number 1 player in this class. And this draft class, to me, is really impressive. Like, I like AJ. I like Cam Boozer. These guys are top 3 pick material. But the fact that he can do this and he looks NBA ready. Not to say that Cam Boozer doesn't also look NBA ready, because I think he does too. But Darryn Peterson looks NBA ready. He looks like if you threw him on an NBA court right now, he can give you serviceable minutes, which is impressive for a freshman player, for a guy that's barely just started his college career. I think he's a problem. I think the fact that, like I said, he plays both sides of the floor at a really high level, the motor that he has, the just you could tell the competitiveness that he had. Like for example, in that North Carolina matchup, he picked up some fouls. You don't want to see your guy get in foul trouble, but he was still trying to be selective and being active on that end of the floor. Yeah, you put yourself at risk in getting more fouls and being in foul trouble, but the fact that he was willing to go out there and say, screw it, I got 3 fouls, but you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to compete anyways because I want to go out there and win this game. When their team was down, he was getting buckets, trying to put them back into a spot where they can compete. I just like a lot about his game. And so far, when I watch him play, I think a lot of people have said this watching him play, but he reminds me of like Devin Booker. Like I can see a world where he's like a more improved, a two-way version of Devin Booker. And Devin Booker, defensively, at least in recent years, he's kind of picked it up on that end of the floor. I mean, I don't think he's elite, but I don't think he's horrible. But I think coming into the league, Devin Booker wasn't looked at as a defender. And Darryn Peterson already has showed you that, look, he brings two-way potential. And if you're picking number one in that NBA draft, which right now would be the Washington Wizards or, let's just say Brooklyn gets the number one pick or something along those lines, and you need somebody that's going to be your top dog guard, your top player, your franchise player, I think Darryn Peterson is the perfect guy to go with to lead your team, to the next level for a young squad. Anyways, that's going to do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to just check out my Instagram, check out my Twitter. The links will be down below. This has been a checkup, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.